I'm your host, Hoff Matthews. Thank you all so much for coming out to the show tonight. We do this more or less monthly, so hope you guys come through again. Have a good night. Hey guys, this is Hoff Matthews of Hoff's HorrorFest. I'm not doing any live shows right now for obvious reasons, so what I am going to try to do now is set up online horror movie watch parties. We are streaming live. This is not a pre-taped show. I put this show together with my co-producer and my good friend Andrei Alupului. What are you up to in the quarantine these days?
I guess I've been mainly really strongly considering writing the next great American novel.
This is fully live. I've been following all of the Twitter discourse on fireworks. We did put the show on hold for a little bit because we wanted to give everybody, including I guess mainly ourselves, a chance to focus on the Black Lives Matter protests. This is a show that we used to do physically live at Cantina Royal in Brooklyn. We have learned that Cantina Royal is going to be closing permanently. I do also have some good news. As of this show, we are adding 2 new writer-producers, George Gordon and Mary Bess Pritchett. August 2020. Is that all it's been since I went into quarantine? We're taking some time off. The plan right now is to maybe come back in October. Happy October. This month, we will have actual real live guests.
I wore my mask because I saw there was like 20 people in here, and I'm just trying to be safe. Follow the CDC guidelines.
I'm excited for the last HorrorFest of October.
This is the last show of this run, maybe ever in this format, I don't know.
Merry Christmas, happy Christmas Eve.
We will probably be back next year with more shows. Happy Valentine's Day in advance to all you lovers out there. Happy St. Patrick's Day. More and more people are getting vaccinated. I am actually halfway through my own vaccine regimen. We also do miss the in-person shows. If we can find a good venue, like, do an in-person show in the summer, in the Halloween season, something like that. We might have an exciting announcement to make sometime soon. I can't say anything yet. On October 26th, we will be showing the movie Return of the Living Dead at Littlefield in Brooklyn. We will be back on October 6th, and it will probably be the final Hoff's Public Domain HorrorFest show. We'll have the in-person show later. Maybe we'll figure out some other approach for the live stream version. I don't know, but we're running out of public domain movies, and the pandemic is ending. Maybe I don't know, but maybe it is. So the last one will be on October 6th with City of the Dead. Oh, good evening. It's me, Michael Myers. Oh, I'm just kidding. It's me, Hoff Matthews, the host of Hoff's Public Domain Horrorfest. Could you see the bottom of the mask? Did it give it away? I hope not. It's the Halloween season, you know? Everyone's entitled to one good scare. Right? You nerds out there know what I'm talking about. Hello! Welcome to Hoff's Public Domain Horrorfest. This is a live comedy show and horror movie screening series. Thank you to everyone tuning in tonight. Hope you're having a good October. This is basically a show where we screen a horror movie and we break it up with live comedy host segments like what you're seeing right now. I hope you enjoyed the little trip down memory lane at the beginning of the show. That maybe gave you a bit of a taste of what we do on the show if you haven't tuned in before, which most of you probably have. And yeah, we, as I said in that montage, used to do this physically live in Brooklyn, but we had to stop in 2020 due to COVID-19, of course. But exciting news, if you don't know, we are going to have our first in-person HorrorFest show since the pandemic started on October 26th at Littlefield in Brooklyn. We're going to be showing the movie The Return of the Living Dead, great zombie horror comedy from the 80s, classic of the genre, and tickets for that are available now at littlefieldnyc.com. So if you haven't snapped those up yet, you can go there and get a hold of them. And in fact, I'm going to make it real easy for you and just put the link right in the chat here. So, yeah, if you're in the New York area, please come through and check out this show. It's going to be a great time. If you're not in the New York area, you know, I understand. It would still be pretty cool if you came, but you have a more solid excuse. But in any case, that's what's happening later in the month. Sorry, there's a chainsaw-wielding madman outside. But when the pandemic started, I actually left New York and came here to my ancestral estate of Hoff Manor to ride out the pandemic here in my haunted mansion. And we've been doing shows online, and because we're online, we've been showing exclusively older classic horror movies which have fallen into the public domain. And this may be the last installment of that version of the show. I know, as you saw in the montage, I've said that a million times, so I don't know if it means anything at this point, but we've done a lot of movies, we've come pretty far, and, you know, this may possibly be the end of the road. And if that is the case, first of all, no better people to spend the evening with than all of you. And second of all, I think we're going to be going out on a cinematic high note with 1960s The City of the Dead, also known as Horror Hotel, which was the title it was released under in the United States. This is I didn't announce this as much as maybe I should have. I said it on the email list. I see KSB is surprised in the chat. Look, you know, you gotta pay close attention to all of our promo communications. We're not just doing this stuff for funsies. Guys, look, we got this one show left, all right? Let's make it count. Let's not get all sad. Let's have a good time tonight and then come to our live show at Littlefield on the 26th. Let's focus on the positive here. We're showing this great movie, City of the Dead, and I do want to note, look, if you're upset, let me suggest someone else to direct your negative emotions at. The horror streaming service Shudder, which I was complaining about them a couple months ago for showing public domain movies. And a week and a half ago, on September 25th, they had on the iconic horror host Elvira to do a 40th anniversary movie marathon, which included multiple public domain films, including the movie we're showing tonight, City of the Dead. So this confirms to me that this is just, Shudder is out to spite me personally. They heard me complaining, and they decided to just twist the knife a little further. So, yes, exactly. Leah's got the right attitude. All of you, all the rest of you, you need to buck up and enjoy these remaining shows. And direct your complaints to Shudder. I would have kept doing the show if they didn't keep stealing my movies. That's the position I'm going to take. Email them. Wonderful, Daniel. I love to see it. But to return to City of the Dead, This is a British production, but it takes place in America. It is about a New England village where the legacy of black magic reverberates down into the present day. Thank you, Miss Dare. KSB, do not do that. I don't sanction that. And so this movie is part of what I think of as a subgenre within the horror genre, where they sort of posit implicitly that the Salem witch trials were correct and justified. That there were, in fact, witches and Satanists in colonial America. And, maybe some of the tactics we took to deal with them went a little far, but this was a real, genuine problem that people had to deal with. And I'm not going to list any other examples of this subgenre because I don't want to spoil anything for our audience participation game, which we're about to do to start off the show, Which Witch? Okay, we're going to play this game called Which Witch, and the way this is going to work is I'm going to give you guys a description of a famous movie witch, and I want you guys to tell me the name of the witch and the movie that she's from. And for every correct answer you get, I will give myself a fun-sized piece of the Halloween candy that I have in this bowl here. I can't give you the candy. I would. Believe me, I would. So your reward is just either seeing me enjoy the candy or alternatively seeing me get sick because I had too much candy. You can look at it either way, but that's how this game is going to work. So everybody in the chat, get ready. Again, I'm going to give you a description of a movie witch, and I want you to tell me who I'm talking about and what movie she is from. First clue. This witch never forgets about the little people. She is known for her kindness, travels by bubble, and her taste in shoes is absolutely wicked. Now, I'm on a bit of a delay here, so, bear with me. But does anybody in the chat know who I'm talking about here? Any guesses? Give you a moment. I hope this is just the delay, because if you guys... The witch from Wicked. I'm going to need you to be more specific. I need a name. Glinda. Yes, there you go. Daniel, that's right. Glinda the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz, down in the corner there in the pink dress. So there you go. That's one piece of candy. I'm not going to eat it right now because then I'd be chewing while I'm delivering the clues and stuff, but I will set it aside to eat later. Off to a good start. Next clue. This witch is one of 3 sisters burned at the stake for luring children to their death in 17th century Salem. You see what I'm talking about. The star of a 1993 Disney Halloween classic, she loves potions and a good book, but no one would dare call her a nerd. Any guesses on this one? A little more challenging. Also, pretty horrific subject matter for a Disney movie. And everybody watches this as a kid. I never saw it as a kid. I watched it a few years ago. Enjoyed it very much, I have to say. I watch all these grisly, gory things. Goody Proctor, I'm afraid, is incorrect. It's a good guess, but it's incorrect. But really all I need is these spooky kids' Halloween movies, if I'm being honest. Any other guesses? Abigail something? It is not. You're getting warmer. I will say, if you don't know the name, you can guess the movie, and you'll get, I don't know, partial credit, I guess. I'm going to call this a loss for you guys. This is a trickier one. This is... Winifred. Okay, Michael Brasino came in at the end there, so I'll call this a win. Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. Very good, played by Bette Midler. And by the way, just to be clear, you can't Google this stuff. You can't just look it up online. That's cheating. So, just it's the honor system, but let's play fair. Next clue. One must travel under the sea to find this witch, whose grand ambition to rule the ocean is foiled by the love of a mermaid and her handsome prince. I feel like you guys can get this one. Most movie villains are trying to take over the world, but they really are focused on the land masses. The ocean covers a lot more of the world's surface, so this is really a particularly ambitious plan. I won't say whether she's successful or not. Yes, The Crucible is definitely a Disney movie. Winifred Sanderson is a Disney princess. Ursula, that's right. Ursula the Sea Witch is the correct answer here from The Little Mermaid. There she is. Ursula the Sea Witch. Next up. This witch was in charge of a German ballet academy until the arrival of an American dancer named Susie brought her coven's empire crashing down. I don't know which clue Margaret Thatcher is supposed to apply to, but you know what? I respect it. I'm going to add a piece of candy for that. And for Ursula, I forgot about that. Any guesses on this German ballet academy witch? Tilda Swinton, I need the character's name. And actually, well, I don't know. I don't want to get too far into the remake lore. Suspiria is the movie, and Mater Suspiriorum, Leah, is the correct answer. Yes, Mater Suspiriorum from Suspiria, 1977 or 2018. Mater Suspiriorum, not pictured on the poster here because I didn't want her horrifying visage to drive any of you insane before you got to see tonight's movie. But it is Mater Suspiriorum. Next clue. No English witches convention would be complete without this powerful sorceress who first appeared in a 1983 Roald Dahl children's book. She never leaves the house without a bar of chocolate and top-quality wig tape. Is this a drag queen witch? I don't know. I'm not giving anything away. What do you guys think in the chat? I like the Suspiria remake, by the way. I'm definitely divisive. I was a fan. Bonus points to anyone in the chat who can name the other two witches from Dario Argento's Three Mothers trilogy. But any guesses on this sorceress who appears at English witches conventions? Well, people in the chat, what do you think? This is a tough one. All right, I'm gonna call this a loss for you guys. No candy on this one. This is the Grand High Witch from The Witches. Does she have another name? I don't think so. I think it's just the Grand High Witch. But that was a tough one. Yes, The Witches, but the name was tricky on that one. Next clue. This young witch, and if you guys don't get this one, this young witch is a star pupil who inspired an entire generation of brave, bookish girls throughout her many adventures alongside her best friends, Ron and Harry. And no, it is not Kirsten Sinema. I think she's probably about the right age, but no, Kirsten Sinema is not the answer to this one. Oh, Ursula was inspired by Divine. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you, Eric. Hermione Jane Granger. I don't know if the middle name is correct, but that's right. Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Not Hermione, like you thought when you were 10. Hermione. Just a couple more of these. Known as the Queen of Voodoo and portrayed by Angela Bassett in the third season of a popular horror anthology series, this real-life 19th century New Orleans woman is so iconic, people visit her grave today. I just want to note, Photoshop added that hyphen into the word real. Not me. I know it looks weird. I guess technically it must be correct. I wouldn't have done that. I don't count the word real as having 2 syllables. That seems like some weird British stuff. This is, by the way, this witch, not a movie witch, really. She's probably in some movies, but this is more of a TV/reality witch. Any guesses on the Queen of Voodoo in the chat? I know the delay. There's probably somebody who said it, and you guys are like, come on, we said it already, you jerk. Well, it's taken too long, and this was a longer clue, regardless. You guys had a lot of time on this one. Counting this as a loss. This is Marie Laveau. There she is on the left, and a portrait on the right. She appeared in American Horror Story Coven. Marie Laveau. Yes. And last clue. This witch is known for corned beef, fresh sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and Russian dressing on rye. What do you guys think? Anybody, folks in the chat, do you know this one? This is a tough one. I think I probably stumped you. I could wait forever. This answer's not going to come up. That's right, folks. This is the Reuben Sand Witch. Yes, which probably appears in some movies at some points, I would think. I'll count that. I see it, KSB. All right. I'm going to be honest. I lost track of how many you guys got right there, but I'll eat a bunch of candy, I promise. You did great. You won the game, and I'm going to reward you with tonight's movie, which will introduce you to even more witches of the screen. Before I get it started, I will just let you know that, as always, me and my co-producers, Andrei Alupului, George Gordon, and Mary Bess Pritchett, have added some stuff to the film tonight. Not that much. Most of what you see in here will just be the original movie, but here and there will be some Easter eggs scattered in. So keep an eye and an ear out for those. I will be back on in about 15 minutes, but for now, please enjoy Act 1 of The City of the Dead.
Bring out Elizabeth Selwyn.
Witch! Burn the witch!
Jethro Kane, hast thou consorted with the witch Elizabeth Selwyn?
No.
Burn the witch!
Help her.
Elizabeth Selwyn, on this 3rd day of March, in the year of our Lord 1692, we, the people of Whitewood, Massachusetts, condemn thee as a witch. May the flames cleanse thy soul of its evil, of its lust for blood, and may they bring about the death of Abigail Adams.
Help her! Lucifer! Hear me! Hear me! I will do thy bidding for all eternity. For all eternity shall I practice the ritual of Black Mass. For all eternity shall I sacrifice unto thee. I give thee my soul. Take me into thy service.
O Lucifer, listen to thy servant. Grant her this pact for all eternity, and I with her. And if we fail thee but once, you may do with our souls what you will.
Make this city an example of thy vengeance. Curse it! Curse it for all eternity! And let me be the instrument of thy curse. Hear me, O Lucifer. Hear me! Making a curse. Curse? Curse. Burn!
Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn. So shouted the people of Whitewood when they burned Elizabeth Selwyn in 1692. Though, as I've said, little is known today of the actual practice of witchcraft in 17th century New England, superstition, fear, and jealousy drove the Puritans to accuse their friends and relatives of consorting with the devil. Raiding around huge bonfires, repeating vindictive chants, they consigned the poor creatures to the flames. The tortured souls cried out in agony as the flames mounted higher and higher. Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn.
Dig that crazy beat.
Shh.
That will be all for today. Tomorrow will be my concluding lecture on the history of witchcraft in 17th century New England. I shall bring along some illustrations which I'm sure will interest you all.
I'll bring the matches.
Maitland! Since you chose to attend these lectures, I had hoped that it was in a spirit of scientific curiosity about the subject. That'll be all.
Bill, how could you?
He takes it all so darn seriously. He's got you all hypnotized.
Oh, Miss Barlow.
Yes, Professor.
Can I see you for a moment, please?
What about our date?
I'll meet
Look, I'll wait for you outside, huh?
you. Yes, Professor.
Rather a difficult young man, that. I fear that you are more of an attraction to him than my poor efforts. However, I've been reading through your papers, Miss Barlow. They show a very sound appreciation of the subject.
I want to go to New England to do my senior paper.
Mm-hmm. They're really quite good, you know.
Well, I'm not quite satisfied. I feel I need some first-hand research. I want to get the atmosphere. Find out how widespread witchcraft really was, what the witches were really like.
Well, that might take a little time, you know.
Well, I have the time. My brother and I were going to spend our vacation with our cousins. What I'd really like to do is to get a room in the smallest, oldest town in New England I can find. Check through all the town hall records, recheck the libraries, talk to the Puritan descendants, make a really thorough investigation.
Your brother is professor of science, Miss Barlow. I hardly think he'd be very interested in the history of witchcraft.
Then I'd go alone.
You don't think he'd object to that?
You leave Richard to me. He's picking me up here for lunch.
Hello, Bill. Professor Barlow.
Nan here?
Yeah, she's in there with him. Well, I don't like her getting mixed up in this witchcraft business.
Why not? It's only part of a history course.
I want to find out
Professor
how
Barlow.
widespread witchcraft really was.
Before you go in there, could I have a word with you?
Sure.
Well, it's about Nan and me.
Oh.
If you're really serious about this, I happen to know of a town in New England. As a matter of fact, it's the identical place where the events occurred that I mentioned in today's lecture, Whitewood. It's quite a small place. It's a little bit off the beaten track, so maybe these directions will help you.
Thank you.
I think you might very well find what you're looking for there. I happen to know the woman who owns the inn at Whitewood. Her name is Newless, Mrs. Newless. So you just tell her I sent you.
Raven's Inn, Whitewood.
What's Whitewood?
Now, Dick, Don't be too upset, but I'm going to change my plans for the vacation.
Change your plans?
Yes. Going to a place called Whitewood for a week or so to do some research.
Who are you? What about Cousin Sue? Why, she's expecting you for a birthday party on the 17th. She'll never forget.
I can still easily make it by then. This is important. My term paper's got to be good. It could mean a scholarship.
And I've made all the arrangements.
Come on, Dick. You'll have a good time without me. My mind's made up. I'm going to Whitewood.
But surely any good encyclopedia will give you all the nonsense you want to know about witchcraft.
Witchcraft is not nonsense, Barlow.
I'm sorry, Driscoll. Witchcraft, black magic, sorcery. To me, it's nothing but fairy tale mumbo-jumbo. I'm a scientist, Driscoll. I believe what I can see, what I can feel and touch.
The basis of fairy tales is reality. The basis of reality is fairy tales.
Well,
As a scientist, you should be familiar with that quotation.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that somebody in Chicago can die of a heart attack because some woman in New Orleans sticks a pin in a wax doll.
Maybe you don't, but practitioners of voodoo will claim otherwise.
Dick, you're just being difficult.
No. When I look into a microscope, Driscoll, I see bacteria swimming, fighting, existing. That's real. These witches that were persecuted and burnt in the 17th century were real, too, but they weren't witches. They were pitiful human beings, victims of hysteria.
There are many eminent scholars who have documentary proof of the actual practice of witchcraft.
Yeah, but how effective was this practice? Did any of these eminent scholars ever meet a real practicing witch? Did you ever meet a witch, Driscoll?
Perhaps.
Oh, come on, you're an historian. No witch ever survived the burning at the stake for all their pacts with the devil.
In 1692, Elizabeth Selwyn went to the stake. She was buried in a churchyard in New England. And yet 3 years later...
Yeah?
3 years later, a new wave of blood sacrifices broke out in the village that had condemned her. The daughters of the elders who had condemned her were themselves found murdered with every last drop of blood drained from their bodies. And afterwards, people came forward to testify that they had actually seen Elizabeth Selwyn.
Oh, stop. This would be more effective at midnight with howling winds and crashing thunder, and even then it wouldn't frighten anyone.
Dick, I'm sorry, Professor Driscoll.
That's all right, Miss Barlow. You won't be the first person to have scoffed at the subject.
Honey, when you get to, where is it?
Whitewood.
Ah, yes, Whitewood. Well, send me a picture postcard of a witch. If possible, autographed. Now, let's have some lunch, eh?
I'm sorry, I have a date.
Nan, darling, I still don't see why you have to go off to this Whitewood place. Now, I thought we were going to have some time together during this vacation.
You know I want to be with you. It's just this is important.
Look, what the heck can you find that hasn't been found before?
I don't know. It's just that maybe, hidden in some attic or buried in some old antique shop, there's something that might give a whole new outlook to the subject.
Oh, what new outlook can there be?
You're a science student, honey. You know how important research is.
But this isn't about anything real. This is just superstitious people burning silly old women.
But suppose the women weren't silly. Suppose they really had a pact with the devil. A pact that could have supernatural power.
Oh, come on. What kind of power?
I don't know.
Oh, look, it's no use, Bill. We've both tried our hardest to talk her out of going.
Do you really think she will find anything worthwhile?
Well, I think we have to respect her desire to find something new, even if we don't agree with the subject.
Agree with it? I've never heard so much nonsense as that guy Driscoll talks in all my life.
Well, here I am, all packed.
Oh, I suppose there's nothing I can say will stop you from going, huh? Yeah, well, I'll put this in the car.
I still hoped you'd change your mind, Nan.
Don't worry, darling. I'll be back as quick as I can, and I'll write.
Well, don't forget me altogether, huh?
I won't. Give Sue my love, and don't forget we have a date at her party.
Bye, darling.
Excuse me, can you help me? I seem to be lost.
Sure, if I can.
I'm looking for the Wamport Road.
Wamport Road? Hardly anyone uses that anymore.
Well, my friend gave me the directions. Take Road 28A, turn onto the Wamport Road, bear left at the fork through to Whitewood.
Whitewood?
Am I that far away?
No, ma'am, not far. Not many God-fearing folks visit Whitewood nowadays. If I were you, I'd...
If you'll excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Which way is it?
Well, follow this road about 2 miles. You come to a fork. There'll be a sign, Wamport Road. Turn left, keep straight. There'll be Whitewood.
Thank you very much. Say Wamport Road?
Wamport Road, yes.
Oh, good. I was afraid I missed it.
Is it Whitewood you seek?
Yes.
I too. Would I be imposing if...
No, of course not. Get in.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. Here are candy wrappers of the candy that I ate. I did eat it, in case anyone was skeptical about whether or not I would do that. Hope you're enjoying the film so far. One thing you may have noticed as we've gotten into it is the extremely antagonistic relationship between Professors Driscoll and Richard Dick Barlow, played by Christopher Lee and Dennis Lotus, respectively, apparently. And I don't want to, give anything away, but the rest of the film never really explains why they seem to hate each other so much. It does seem like maybe there's some backstory there. And in fact, after The City of the Dead came out, there were plans for a prequel movie which would explore the roots of Driscoll and Barlow's relationship. It was going to be called University Hell. And ironically, it languished in development hell for a while and never ended up getting made. But you know that we here at Hoff's Horrorfest have a knack for getting our hands on rare, unreleased material. And we've actually gotten a hold of the script for University Hell. I read through it, and I gotta say, it's a real shame this movie never got made, because it was a really cool story. The idea was, it follows Driscoll and Barlow when they're just students at the university. They're in the same friend group, and there's a girl named Mary, also in this friend group, who sort of drives a wedge between them. Driscoll is in love with Mary, but Mary is in love with Barlow, so there's like a love triangle going on. And eventually, Barlow gets a professorship before Driscoll, and Driscoll is just driven into this state of rage and desperation, not unlike how we see Elizabeth Selwyn at the beginning of this movie. And then, Mary disappears. And it turns out she just transferred to a different school. But Barlow blames Driscoll for her disappearance and thinks there must have been some sort of foul play involved. Even though, in fact, Mary had just transferred to a different school. And at the end of the movie, Driscoll and Barlow both get tenured and continue to passive-aggressively snipe at each other. Now, apparently the studio felt that a film about the inner lives of embittered, jealous academics was just too dark and disturbing for mainstream audiences, and so it was never, actually put into production. But the script made the rounds, and supposedly it inspired some of the novels of John Cheever. So, a little behind-the-scenes info for you, and let's see some more of the film.
I think the Highway Commission would do something about these roads. Watch out, here comes another bump.
What is your mission in Whitewood?
Mission? Well, I'm going there to do some research on witchcraft. Professor Driscoll gave us some very interesting lectures on the subject, and I'm going there to get some original source material. Do you know Whitewood?
I've known it for many years.
Do you go there often?
Fairly often.
Oh, then you must know the Raven's Inn.
I shall be resting there.
Oh, so shall I. Oh, my name's Nan Barlow.
My name's Jethro Keene.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Just like a picture out of a history book. I feel as though I were in the 17th century. Why hasn't Whitewood been written about?
It's off the beaten path. Few tourists come here. For Whitewood, time stands still.
Look at that church. Must have been beautiful. What a shame they let it get so run down. Straight on?
Yes, follow the road around.
Ah, there it is. What a lovely old building. 17th century at least. How picturesque can you get? Right by the graveyard.
Yes, it has not been used for more than 200 years.
Any witches buried there?
There are indeed. All in a section of unconsecrated ground.
Spooky, isn't it? Well, keep your fingers crossed for me, Mr. Keene. I hope Mrs. Newlis has that room. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Are you Mrs. Newlis? Oh, I'm Nan Barlow. I was told I might find a room here. I was recommended by a friend of mine, Professor Driscoll. Perhaps you know him.
That will be all, Lottie. Sorry to keep you waiting. Unfortunately, Lottie cannot talk. I've often told her not to answer the bell.
Oh, poor thing. Then you're Mrs. Newlis.
I am. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like to have a room here for 2 weeks.
The hotel is quite full. Oh, the guests are never about at this time of the day.
Well, I'm a student of Professor Driscoll's. He told me if I mentioned his name, I'd have no trouble.
Well, there is a room I could let you have. It's just off the lobby.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Mrs. Newlis, that plaque. Is it true that Elizabeth Selwyn was really burnt here for being a witch?
She was?
And do you believe she was a witch?
Come along. I'll show you to your room. I hope you will be comfortable. Yes, it is a nice room. The previous occupants have always found it most agreeable. Well, if there's anything you should need, just ring the bell for me at the desk.
Thank you.
been so many months. I've counted the days to this holiday.
So have the others. It wasn't easy for some of my guests to get here. Many had to travel vast distances.
I was lucky. The last few miles were enchanting. Miss Barlow is very good company.
You must be tired, Jethro. Your room is ready.
And the festivities.
I am prepared.
Oh, Mrs. Newless. I thought I'd have a short look around town. I won't be gone long.
I think you'll find the church interesting. Unfortunately, it no longer has a congregation.
He will be pleased.
I'm told this was once a house of worship.
It is still a house of worship. I am the reverend of this church. As long as the breath of life is within me, this house shall remain God's house.
Must have been a beautiful building.
For me, it is still beautiful.
I'm sorry. What a shame the people have let it fall into such a state.
Strangers rarely come to Whitewood. Who are you?
I'm Nan Barlow. I'm staying at the Raven's Inn.
Why have you come to Whitewood?
Well, because I'm interested in witchcraft.
Young woman, leave Whitewood. Leave Whitewood tonight. For 300 years, the devil has hovered over this city, made it his own. The people in it are his. Evil has triumphed over good here. Look at my church. I have no parish. No one worships here. His is the power.
What power?
Leave Whitewood. Leave Whitewood tonight. I beg of you.
What power?
Leave before it is too late.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please excuse the mess. We haven't been open long.
You have some very interesting things here.
Yes, they belong to my grandmother. When she died, I came back to sort things out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then you don't live here?
No, my family have lived here for generations, but I've just been back a few weeks. Would you like to have a look around?
Thank you. Oh, I didn't mean to frighten you when I came in. It's just that all the people I've met here have acted like I'm a person from another world.
They don't see many strangers here.
And I had the most, well, unusual experience with the Reverend. He barred my way from the church. And he talked to me about a curse. And he warned me to leave Whitewood. Can you explain that?
No, I can't.
Does he often act that way?
He's my grandfather.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's happened before with strangers. Oh, the lack of parishioners and loss of his sight has made him bitter and suspicious.
I'm afraid what with him and the town, I was very scared. When I saw your lights, I made a dash for them.
I'm glad you did.
Do you have any books or pamphlets on witchcraft? You do, don't you? A friend of mine...
Well, we have a collection gathering dust, but why on earth would you be interested in... Oh, I'm sorry. It's really none of my business.
No, that's all right. I'm studying it in college, and I've come here to write my term paper.
Well, just wait. I'll see what I can find. That's Elizabeth Selwyn, burned as a witch, March 3rd, 1692.
Yes, I know. I saw the plaque in the lobby of the hotel.
You're staying at the Ravens Inn?
Yes. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine, Professor Driscoll.
Alan Driscoll?
Yes, do you know him?
No, but my grandfather speaks of him. His family come from here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Here, I think this will do for a start. What a lovely locket. May I see it?
I believe it's quite old.
Oh, it is. You're very lucky.
I'm even more lucky to have found this. A treatise on devil worship in New England. This must be a very rare book. I'm afraid I couldn't afford to buy it.
You can borrow it, if you like.
Oh, could I? That would be wonderful. I promise I'll bring it back in a few days.
You're very welcome, Miss,
Barlow. Nan Barlow.
Nan Barlow.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Mrs. Newless? Mrs. Newless?
Yes, Miss Barlow?
I've heard some strange noises in my room.
Oh, possibly the water in the pipes. This is a very old inn.
No, it seemed to be coming from the cellar underneath.
I hardly think so, Miss Barlow. The cellars do not extend beneath your room.
But then why is there a trapdoor in the floor?
The ground was filled in many years ago to strengthen the foundations of the building.
But I'm sure
Well, if you insist, I will come and see. I don't hear anything.
Well, just a few minutes ago. Never mind, I'm sorry.
You're welcome. But you can see for yourself there is no ring in the trapdoor because there is no reason to lift it. There is nothing underneath but earth.
Strange. Well, we're going to step away from the film for a moment because, as I said at the beginning of the show, this may be, not to upset people, it may be the last Public Domain HorrorFest live stream we do. And I realized I've been here in my ancestral estate of Hoff Manor doing this show for so many months, and I've really made very little use of this location. I've barely shown you guys any of this house, apart from this little part behind me and the outside, which you see at the beginning of the show. And it's really a shame because it's such an interesting property with so many cool quirks to it. And, you know, I can't really bring a lot of people here because the whole point of being here is to self-isolate. But I figured for this show, I might show you around using a video tour. So I put that together. Here it is, your video tour of Hoff Manor. Here it is, Hoff Manor, the old Hoff estate. You know what it looks like on the outside. Let's take a look inside. Welcome. Don't mind the cobwebs. Spiders actually help control more troublesome household pests like mosquitoes, and their egg sacs are delicious. I'm just kidding. Come on, let's check out the most important part of the house, my home theater. This is where I host every Hoff's Public Domain HorrorFest show, including the one you're watching right now. It's a great space, and I'm often here even when it's not showtime, relaxing with a movie or the latest trendy TV show. And this is my DVD and Blu-ray library, where I pick out all of our HorrorFest film selections. For example, tonight's film, The City of the Dead. Here comes my live-in butler, Bella. No, Bella, I said there's a bloodstain to clean up upstairs, not in the basement. Yeah, upstairs. And speaking of the basement, this is my dungeon. And this is the Verizon employee who installed my Fios connection, which is supposedly high speed, and yet for some reason I still keep getting lag on my live streams. Now why would that be?
I don't know. It's probably an issue with your computer's processing power or something.
Alright, I'm gonna get somebody from the Genius Bar in here, see what you guys can work out. Here's the Hoff Manor pool. Nothing like swimming a few laps to help you cool off and relax. The pool has monsters in it. And this is the bedroom I rent out on Airbnb. Everything good, Todd?
Yep, all good, Hoff.
Great. So there you go, Hoff Manor, headquarters of Hoff's Public Domain HorrorFest. If you're interested in visiting in person, check us out on Airbnb, now offering discounts to Apple Genius Bar employees. Yeah. Ironically, we haven't really been having troubles with the stream tonight, so maybe I'll let that guy go. Let's see some more of the film.
Come in. Oh, hello, Lottie. Come in. Oh, I don't need any more towels. I haven't used mine. They're quite clean.
Lottie, I've told you before not to bother the guests. Miss Barlow, I thought you might care to join the others.
I will as soon as I finish my notes. I'll put some clothes on and join them.
A treatise on devil worship in New England. Well, do you find this interesting?
Why, it's fascinating. The things I've learned. I bet you don't know the half of it. And you live right here on a spot where the witches were actually burnt. Listen to this. On Candlemas Eve, February 1st, in the year 1692, a coven of witches, a coven that's 13, some men, some women, whose power came from the devil, gathered beneath the Raven's Inn to perform a black mass in the honor of Lucifer. The witch Elizabeth Selwyn, later to be burnt at the stake, marked a young girl for sacrifice by obtaining an object of value belonging to her with which to call her, and leaving in its place a dead bird and a sprig of woodbine. The witches sacrificed her on the altar and drank her blood at the hour of 13. What's the hour of 13?
Well, personally, I have never heard a clock strike more than 12. Now, how about joining the dancing?
In a little while, I promise. Oh, by the way, I seem to have misplaced my locket. I remember having it in my room, and now it's disappeared.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll ask Lottie.
Well, I'm not saying it was stolen. It's just, I remember having it on the dresser, and now it's gone. I would appreciate it.
Of course. I'll look into it immediately. Lottie, I have warned you too often about annoying our guests. If you disobey me again, I shall turn you out. And if I turn you out, there will be no place for you anywhere. You do understand, Lottie, don't you? Ah, Miss Barlow. I'm afraid Lottie is nowhere to be found, but I will inquire about your locket first thing in the morning.
Oh, thank you. Where is everybody?
Most of the other guests have gone to services.
Services on the 1st of February. Candlemas Eve. The night when the witches mocked the rituals of the church.
Are you all right, Miss Barlow?
Yes, quite. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Miss Barlow.
Mrs. Nolas! Mrs. Nolas! Mrs. Nolas!
I am Elizabeth Selwyn.
No, no!
11.
No! Let go of me! Let
12.
go!
Hey! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susie. Happy birthday to you.
Yummy. Delicious.
Dick, have you got any idea what's happened to Nan?
I'm sure she'll show up. She probably met a good-looking he-witch and is bringing him along to the party, only their broomstick blew a gasket.
Oh, it's not like Nan to be late for anything. Aren't you a bit worried about her?
Oh, she'll be here. I'm sure she'll make it. Oh, it's probably her now.
Well, you answer the door, and I'm going to put a record on for some dancing.
All right.
Hi, Dick.
Bill.
Oh, what's the matter? You expecting somebody else?
Oh, yes, Nan. Look, come in.
Well, Nan, didn't you hear yet? We made a date to meet here before she left for Whitewood.
Well, she probably got held up. Look, give me your coat, huh?
Ah, Nan was never late for anything in her life.
Relax. Take it easy. Join the party. She'll be here.
Dick. Dick, I haven't had a letter from Nan in over 2 weeks now.
She's probably been too busy working on her paper.
No, there's something wrong, I know it. Look, will you do something for me?
Hmm?
Ring up Whitewood, will you? Ask him if she's left.
You serious?
Yes, I am.
Okay. On a long distance? I'd like to speak with Miss Nan Barlow at the Raven's Inn, Whitewood. No, I don't know the phone number.
What? Didn't she give you the phone number?
Oh, I know, but that's my sister. They say there's no such place as the Raven's Inn.
But that's crazy. She's staying there.
Give me the police.
She left in such a hurry, she must have forgotten to return it to you, Miss Russell.
She seems such a nice girl, too. Wouldn't have thought she was the sort who'd forget to return a book.
We cannot always judge by our first impressions, can we?
I'm not usually wrong about the people I lend my books to.
Well, perhaps you'll be more careful in future.
Thank you for letting me have it.
Remember me to your grandfather. Lottie, get out of the way, you clumsy creature.
Can I help you?
Yes, we're from the sheriff's office. We had a call this evening. A missing persons report from some college kid named Nan Barlow. The party calling said that her last known whereabouts was the Raven's Inn.
And Barlow, that's strange. Yes, I met her.
When did you last see her?
About 2 weeks ago. She came to my shop and borrowed this book. It's quite valuable, and so not hearing from her, I decided to come and get it. Mrs. Newless had it.
May I?
Yes.
A treatise on devil worship. I must put this in the report. Peculiar things some of these college kids do nowadays. Well, thanks for your help. Come on, Charlie.
Hello? Yeah? It's police. Yeah? Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Well?
Police sent a car out to the Raven's Inn. Nan checked out 2 weeks ago.
I don't get it.
Well, neither do I.
Look, these are Nan's books and papers. Go through them. See if you can find anything which might give us a lead. I'm going to pay a visit to a colleague of mine.
O Lord of Light, accept this sacrifice.
come in?
Well, yes, of course, please do. Can I take your coat?
I tried to phone you last night, but I guess you weren't in.
No, I wasn't. Would you care to go in the study? Sit yourself down.
Thanks.
You take a drink?
Ryan soda.
Ice?
Please.
Now, what's on your mind?
Well, Nan's missing. And she has been since the day after she arrived at Whitewood.
Really? You quite sure?
That's what the police said.
What are they doing about it?
Carrying out a routine check. I don't suppose they can do much more until they've got something definite to go on.
Well, I would have thought there was a very great deal more they could do.
What? As far as they're concerned, she disappeared 2 weeks ago and no one in the village seems to know anything about it.
What did you come see me for?
I thought you might have some ideas. Why did you send her to Whitewood?
Because it was the best place for her research.
And you suggested she stay at the Raven's Inn.
Sure, it's the only inn there is.
With an unlisted phone number?
The inn has its own clientele, Barlow. It doesn't need to advertise.
How do you know it so well?
Because I was born in Whitewood.
I see. And you'd have every reason to believe she'd be perfectly safe in going there.
I have no reason to suppose that she wouldn't be. Nan struck me as being perfectly capable of taking care of herself.
Yeah, I grant you that, but why hasn't she come back or let us know?
Look, Barlow, I can understand your anxiety, but I'm quite sure there's nothing for you to worry about. Nothing at all. She's probably got absorbed in the subject and gone off someplace. I wish that all my class had her application.
Yeah, well, I'm going to find out where this application led her. I'm going to retrace every step Nan took. I'm either going to find Nan or know what happened to her.
There are some who believe it's...
Sorry about that. Yeah. So we're all sufficiently traumatized by the death of our apparent protagonist. No one's safe in this movie, guys. So obviously, one of the great joys of the City of the Dead is the presence of Christopher Lee, whom we love. And, you know, we've had the pleasure of including a lot of horror icons in the movies we've screened on this Public Domain Horror Fest show, people like Bela Lugosi and Vincent Price. And we often include a masterclass video in which they share tips on how they execute their performances. And tonight is no different, so I'm now going to present to you a Christopher Lee masterclass video on concealing your intentions.
There are some who believe it's good to wear your heart on your sleeve. Especially in this age of social media, it's common to share one's interests, opinions, and feelings with anyone who may be willing to listen. Even many movie villains relish in revealing as much of their nature as possible.
Explode the sunlight here, and a chain reaction will occur direct to the sun itself, and to all the planets that sunlight touches.
After all, don't we all just want to feel understood? But what if it's not to your advantage to make your feelings known yet? Hi, I'm Christopher Lee. You may remember me from such films as Dracula, The City of the Dead, The Pirates of Blood River, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, Nutcracker Fantasy, and The Lord of the Rings. If you study my affect now, you will find that you do not know where I stand. My demeanor reveals nothing to you. Am I friendly or hostile? What if I told you that this was a deliberate technique? You see, I am in control of your emotional state. Either you're relieved or unsettled. But is that all there is? Are we movie villains fated to only convey these two obvious states of the heart? Is there nothing in between? What if I left you wondering? Until it's time to attack. You see, whether you're playing a role in a film, or whether you're playing a role for a lifetime in order to conceal your darkest devotions, it's important to be able to meter out your evil. Think about Norman Bates.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
Sure. What a sweet guy. The only indication you have is here. The cancellation chuckle. The chuckle that neutralizes any suspicion of malice. Watch. We're going to have such fun this weekend. The weather looks absolutely wonderful. This person will no longer suspect that you have any intention of killing them. The chuckle does all the work. You can actually string someone along, victims and such, for years using this method. Just look at TV's Dexter or Ted Lasso. But then later on in the story, say about halfway through the film, when their back is turned, you bust out this move. This is a private moment between you and the audience where they get to know your intentions even before your victims do. This is, of course, the villain's mandate. Strike like a snake! Of course, there are many variations on this. If you are a secret goodie, for example, a snake figure, and you wanted to conceal it from the audience, leave them wondering, then you could lean into the menacing looks and every so often allow yourself a discreet smile, as if to make the audience ask themselves, wait, is he nice? There are a lot of approaches that you can take to your deception. In many ways, this is one of the great joys of villainy. Happy striking.
Yeah, some tips for all you aspiring actors out there. And now we're going to move on to the next act of the film, which I hope you enjoy. Am I doing it right? Here we go.
I can't stop you from going.
No?
You're not afraid?
Afraid? Why?
Well, if anything did happen to your sister and somebody else went along to try and find out about it.
Same thing might happen to them?
Possible.
You seem to think something happened to my sister then.
No, I just think you're jumping to conclusions, Barlow.
Maybe, but I shall find her.
Professor Driscoll,
Yes.
I don't like to disturb you, but may I see you?
Well, of course, please come in. Good luck in Whitewood.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, but did you say he was going to Whitewood?
Yes, he is.
It's silly to be surprised, but I've just come from Whitewood.
Really? Quite a coincidence. My own family happens to come from Whitewood. As a matter of fact, I was born there.
Yes, I know.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
You care for a drink?
No, thank you. I think you know my grandfather, the Reverend Russell.
Russell? Why, yes, of course I do. How long have you been living in Whitewood?
Since my grandmother died a few weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, now, how can I help you?
I've come about a pupil of yours, Barlow, Nan Barlow.
Yes?
She came to Whitewood 2 weeks ago. I met her and liked her, and she told me that she was a student in one of your classes, that you recommended that she stay at the Raven's Inn.
That's quite right, I did.
Well, that's what I've come to see you about. On the day after she arrived, she disappeared.
Oh?
Later, the police came asking questions. Her family were worried. I thought you might have their address.
And why do you want her family's address?
Because I have something of hers I want to return.
Well, you just leave it with me, and I'll make sure they get it safely.
Well, I don't want to trouble you. If you just give me their address.
As you wish. Her address is Dorchester Street, 225. She lives with her brother. As a matter of fact, he's a colleague of mine. You just met him. He was leaving when you arrived. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of work to do. I'm rather a busy man at the moment.
Of course. Thank you for your help.
Not at all. I hope it achieves something. Well, you will remember me to your grandfather, won't you?
Yes, of course. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Russell.
Yeah, that's Nan's locket, all right.
As far as I know, it's unique. I gave it to her. Where did you get it?
The servant at the inn gave it to me. It was strange. I don't think she wanted Mrs. Newless to know I had it.
Mrs. Newless?
Well, she runs the inn.
Well, why did you come here, Miss Russell?
I found this.
It's Professor Driscoll's notepaper.
I found it in the pages of a book I lent your sister on her first evening in Whitewood. When she didn't return it, I went to the hotel.
What was the book?
An old book. Book about witchcraft.
Do you believe in it, Miss Russell?
I don't know. Sometimes I almost think I live with it.
Live with it?
It's an obsession of my grandfather's. Up till now, I didn't take him very seriously. He's an old man. But now I'm beginning to wonder if what he says isn't true.
What does he say?
That there's something evil about the village. That on certain nights, the inhabitants leave the streets, close their doors, and stay behind them. That on these nights, the dead come to life.
Nights like Candlemas Eve?
What do you know about Candlemas Eve?
It's in one of Nan's books.
I don't believe it. Things like this don't happen today.
In Whitewood, I wonder.
I'm going to Whitewood tomorrow after classes. I can give you a lift.
Thank you, but I must get back. I can't leave my grandfather alone. He's blind.
May I come and see you when I arrive? I'd like to have a talk with him.
Please do. It's the house next to the church. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll see you to the door.
Going to Whitewood?
Yes.
Would you take me along with you? It's a dark night for walking. You're the Reverend Russell's granddaughter, aren't you?
Yes, how did you know?
I know a great deal about Whitewood.
Have you ever been there?
Now and then.
Never seen you.
To see me is a special privilege, reserved for a chosen few.
What does that mean?
We'll soon be at Whitewood now.
This is as far as I go. You will...
She's pretty, too.
Yes, she is. Very pretty.
A living descendant of those who were cursed. It somehow seems to make it better.
Another day.
And tomorrow.
The witch's Sabbath.
Which way to Wamport Road?
Straight ahead, fork in the road, you see a sign, turn left. You heading for Whitewood?
I am. Many people head this way?
Not many.
Is this the only way in and out of the town?
Misdirection, yep.
You wouldn't remember by any chance a pretty girl in a convertible about a month ago?
Barlow girl. Read about her in the papers. Never seen her again. Told the police.
Thanks.
Could you tell me the way to Whitewood, please?
Another one. Straight ahead, fork in the road, you see a sign, Wamport Road, turn left, takes you right in.
But thanks.
Let me warn you, young fella, they don't like strangers in Whitewood.
Okay, fine. Thanks very much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like a room, please.
The inn is closing.
I'll only be here a few days.
But the inn is closing.
When?
In 2 days.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay until then.
If you insist.
Could I have the same room my sister had? Still available, isn't it?
Yes, it's available.
Mrs. Newless, you told the police that my sister checked out.
You are mistaken, Mr. Barlow. I told them that on the morning of February 2nd, I went to her room and found it empty, her bed not slept in, her luggage and car gone, and her bill unpaid.
Well, you can put the charges on mine. When was the last time you saw her?
On the evening of February 1st. It was shortly before midnight. She'd been in the lobby here dancing with some of the guests. She seemed to be enjoying herself.
Did any particular guest pay a special attention to her?
And not that I noticed. Your sister kept very much to herself.
You know why she came to Whitewood?
It is not my habit to inquire into people's private business.
Or would the fact that she was investigating witchcraft have antagonized anyone in the village?
Hardly. There have been other students here, you know. Besides, your sister was a very agreeable and likable young woman.
Well, have you any idea where she might have gone?
None.
Thank you. Now, may I see the room?
As you wish. It is this way. If you should need anything and I am not at the desk, you have only to ring the bell.
Thank you.
Hello. I'm so glad you've come. I saw your car outside the Ravens Inn earlier. I wondered what had happened to you.
I've been talking with Mrs. Newless, and then I took a walk around the village.
Find out anything?
Everyone here seems to be afraid of something.
And you don't think it's just my imagination?
I don't know. Who's to say where imagination ends and truth begins? It's nothing tangible. It's just the way they look at you.
I felt it too.
May I see the book that Nan borrowed?
Yes, I put a marker between the pages where she must have stopped reading. Just sit down and I'll tell my grandfather you're here.
Thank you.
I warned you, Lottie.
Grandfather, this is Mr. Barlow.
How do you do, sir?
God be with you.
Shall we sit where we'll be more comfortable? Here's your chair, Grandfather. You must be tired.
I am really tired. I have little strength left these days for the fight.
Won't you sit down? I'll make some coffee.
The fight against what, Mr. Russell?
Against the evil that besets this village. The people are creatures of the devil. They know no other god.
You mean they worship Satan here? Today?
Satanism was never stronger than at the present time. For 200 years, the people of Whitewood have carried out rituals that mock the church's teaching.
I find it very hard to believe, sir.
Do not doubt, my son. It is real enough. For years I struggled against the witches. Their master took away my sight.
Seems incredible.
I have tried to convince others. They too found it unbelievable. But I know these people have a pact with the devil to worship him and do his works. In return, he gives them eternal life.
Eternal life?
Aye. And to seal this bargain, they must sacrifice a young girl on 2 nights of the year.
When are these nights, sir?
Candlemas Eve and the Witches' Sabbath.
Candlemas Eve, that's February the 1st. And when is the Witches' Sabbath?
Tonight.
Now you know why I came to see you.
I had no idea it was so late. May I have a rain check on the coffee? I'd like to have a few words with Miss Newless again.
Of course.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
I'll see you to the door.
God be with us.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of the movie tonight, guys. And if you've been watching for a while, you know what that means. It's time for the Horror Host Highlight Reel. The idea here is all the movies we show have been around for a while. They've been in the public domain for a while. So a lot of people have hosted screenings of them before we came along, on late night television or the internet or wherever. So rather than pretending we're doing some unique thing here, which has never been done before, we like to pay tribute to the tradition we're a part of by putting together a montage of other horror hosts hosting the film of the night. And we do lean more on internet stuff than television, just because that's, I have more access to that stuff. But we try to mix it up as much as we can. I will say, in this case, this highlight reel will start off with snippets of a conversation between 2 horror hosts, Vincent Van Dahl of Creature Features and Mr. Lobo of Cinema Insomnia, which I included partly because Mr. Lobo gives a summary of his horror hosting career, which I think nicely doubles as a kind of miniature history of the horror hosting format generally. So, without further ado, here it is, your horror host highlight reel for The City of the Dead.
It is Saturday night, and I'm with a man in a blue suit. We finally got Mr. Lobo here. We're going to have some fun tonight, right?
I hope so. It's so great to be here.
So tell us about your show.
I've been doing it since 2001. Cinema Insomnia started at KXTV 10 in Sacramento. They had a movie at 3:05 a.m. and it ran 20 minutes short. I thought it might be fun to try to fill that 20 minutes with something. In the middle of the night, they had no ratings. It was just a hash mark.
Right.
And we brought it up from hash marks to a 2, which was 22,000 homes. Then we went into syndication, picked up by a satellite network, UATV, and at one point we had a footprint of 45 million homes. Broadcast, as you know, things changed with broadcast, and a lot of those local stations disappeared.
Right.
And now we have a home in streaming. What's the movie tonight?
The movie tonight is City of the Dead. I had to look.
Tonight's movie is City of the Dead. Tonight, we review The City of the Dead.
We have a magnificent mausoleum movie titled The City of the Dead.
City of the Dead.
City of the Dead.
The City of the Dead. City of the Dead.
The City of the Dead.
The City of the Dead.
City of the Dead. City of the Dead. City of the Dead.
City of the Dead? I don't know if I know that one.
You know this.
Originally released in 1960 as City of the Dead, it was re-released by Translux. They renamed tonight's feature Horror Hotel.
The USA changed its title to avoid confusion with Detroit and also removed 2 minutes of footage.
We are showing you guys Horror Hotel. That's it. That's it. Yes. I know it by a different name.
We got it as Horror Hotel 1960.
We're going to tell you about a hotel you don't want to check into. It's called the Horror Hotel.
We're checking into the late night at the Horror Hotel.
This is Horror Hotel, right?
No, this isn't Horror Hotel. We're showing the movie Horror Hotel tonight. Horror Hotel. Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel. Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel. Horror Hotel.
We are here at Days of the Dead in Schaumburg, Illinois, at a horror hotel, if you suppose, the Marriott in Schaumburg.
Yes, do you have room for Psychotron?
Let me see if I have something. What's the last name again?
Psychotron.
I heard there's a movie about a hotel today. I used to trash some hotels, man, back in the day.
Tonight we have a movie, it's called The Horror Hotel. Now, Doc Moreau is a big, unusual man who spends much of his life with the horrible dangling shrew, the horrible shrew that has chosen to use its horrible prehensile tail to treat you to some gymnastics, some shrew gymnastics.
It also has Christopher Lee, who of course we love. And oh, there's a fish. It's a fishy.
I do have a life cast of Christopher Lee. He's got an enormous head. He's gigantic.
Strangely, this film makes no reference to Salem, Massachusetts itself, despite obviously being inspired by the Salem witch trials of 1692.
We're in Salem. Yes, we are. This was the high school fun, of course, Hocus Pocus. This is the famous town hall. So we are here at the House of 7 Days.
Which is good. Very good. Many fall.
For me, one of the biggest surprises was when Miss Barlow took off her robe.
Skinamax.
Ooh! Skinamax! Boy, was that scene integral to the plot.
As we start moving back into doing things live, there's a lot of work to be done, but it'll be here before we know it. I hope we'll be back together in person very soon. Cheers.
Wow, what an interesting thing that Mr. Ravencraft would bring up seeing people in person at the end there, because, you know, we're doing an in-person show on October 26th at Littlefield in Brooklyn, doing the movie Return of the Living Dead, and tickets are available now at littlefieldnyc.com. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but yeah, if you're around then, you should come through and check it out. And now, please enjoy the thrilling conclusion of The City of the Dead, aka Horror Hotel.
Miss Russell, do you think that Nan's disappearance is connected in some way with these witches' ceremonies?
Yes,
Well, I'd like to come back later if I may.
please do. And my name is Pat.
Well, mine's Richard.
I think I feel better now you're here.
Well, I'm going to stay until I find out what's happened to Nan.
Take care. Now drink your coffee before it gets cold.
You must not see that young man again tonight.
Why not?
The devil comes in many disguises.
I'll get you a spoon. Grandfather, there's a bird in the drawer. It's got an arrow through it.
Go and look on the front door.
It's a sprig of woodbine.
Shut the door! Shut the door quickly!
Grandfather, what does it mean?
Now listen, my darling. This is their sign. The witch's sign.
What can we do?
We must leave here. Leave here immediately.
Stop the car. phone. They've wrecked the car.
Barlow! Phone Barlow!
Hello? Hello? Hello, I want the Ravens Inn.
Yes, Mrs. Newless. Mr. Barlow.
That for me?
Yes.
Hello?
Dick? Dick, I'm in terrible danger. We've got to leave Whitewood at once.
Danger? But from what?
We've got to leave...
Pat!
Dick, help me!
Patricia! Pat!
What's happened, Mr. Russell? The witches have Patricia. Destroy them.
Mr. Russell, how?
The shadow of the cross. Use the cross. I adjure thee, O creatures of salt, by the living God.
Mr. Russell. Maitland! Maitland, what's happened? Hello. Hello, operator?
been waiting for
Dick! These are the dead who killed Nan!
Barlow.
Dick, help me!
Come on, Pat, quicker!
Dick, right! Dick!
Maitland! Get to a cross! A cross! A shadow of a cross!
Dick, he's moving!
Lift the cross! Quick! Jesus, folks! I'm jersey by the living God! Back from the cross! Come nearer, Bill! Get the shadow of him!
It comes nearer.
Not fail. We must finish the sacrifice.
Dick!
Dead!
Wait! Wait for the hour of 13.
Right?
I think so.
Got a score to settle with Mrs. Newless.
You stay here.
No!
there you go. The City of the Dead. Hope you guys enjoyed the movie, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching, and one more time, HorrorFest will be back on October 26th in person at Littlefield in Brooklyn, and tickets for that show are available at littlefieldnyc.com right now, so you should pick those up. It really is going to be very fun. I'd love to see you guys there, and you know, this may be the last Public Domain HorrorFest live stream show we do, but just in case, if you do want to be kept in the loop on any future endeavors or shows we decide to do, you can sign up for our email list at hoffshorrorfest@gmail.com. Email us there, and we will get you signed up. I have been your host, Hoff Matthews. My co-producers on this show are Andrei Alupului, George Gordon, and Mary Bess Pritchett. We had friends of the show, Matt Reiser and Ian Goldstein, making guest appearances in the Hoff Manor video. And, you know, I've done so many versions of the, you know, this is maybe our last show speech, where I talk about how much fun the show is to do, and, you know, how great it's been to have this show throughout the pandemic. But, so, you know, I don't want to repeat myself too many times, but it is really true. It has been really fun to do. This show tonight was super fun. And I am really appreciative, not just of my wonderful collaborators, but also of you guys in the audience for showing up and being in the chat and making this such a fun communal thing. So, whether or not you can make it out to the Return of the Living Dead show, you know, it's just October 6th. October, the Halloween season, is really just beginning, and I hope you enjoy every day and night of the month ahead. So, happy Halloween, and have a good night. Hey, Bella, do you want a pumpkin beer?